So once you've signed up for PodBean and registered your account, you should log in. And once you do log in, this is the screen that pops up. This is the PodBean homepage. You should notice that it welcomes you by your username in the top right-hand corner. To get to the area where you actually publish your podcasts, you want to click on your name. Now, I've already created a website and a show, but you probably want to create a new show. So you want to go into my dashboard in the bottom right-hand corner. And you would probably want to click on Publish a New Show. And you'll get to set up your site's look or theme by clicking here, set up the site's configuration by clicking here, and actually decide what your URL will look like. In my case, it's carryhawk02.podbean.com. All of that can be done through these links once you're into your dashboard. Once you've set all of that up to actually publish the show, you want to go click on Publish. And you're going to write a post or an episode. Each of your podcasts that you publish on your website is considered an episode, and your podcast channel itself is considered a show. So that's what those two terms mean. So in this case, I'm going to call it Sample Podcast. And you are going to be required to enter some tags. So I'm just going to write Teachers, Workshop, Blue Ribbon. And then in the post, you want to describe what the podcast is about. This is a sample podcast to assist with teacher training at the Blue Ribbon Conference. And then down below, this is where you'll actually upload the audio recording that you've created using Audio Expert. So I'm going to click Browse. And by the way, you'll notice that it's already set for MP3, but if you have a different file type that you'd like to upload, you can choose from many different file types, depending on if you use some other tool besides Audio Expert to actually create your podcast recording. So I'm going to go in to the folder that I created, Blue Ribbon, to get our recording sample. And there it is, right there. The duration, you can check your recording sample and find out how long it is and enter it there. And I like to put that in because it helps the viewers to know what they're getting into once they start listening to your podcast. So let's go check that out. I'm going back into the folder that I created to access the recording. I'm just going to double click to open it, and it should automatically open in Windows Media Player. So it looks like it was 18 seconds. So I'm going to put it in as 18 seconds, and I'm going to click Save and Continue Editing to give it a moment to upload the actual audio recording. This upload is going to be very quick because it's only an 18-second podcast. The longer your podcast, the longer it takes to upload. I've had some that are 8 minutes. Those take just a few seconds longer. And I'm just going to click Publish. And if we give it a second, it's been published. So if we go click on View Site next to the name of my podcast show that I've created, Carrie Hawk 02's Classroom Podcasts, it should be the first podcast that appears at the top of the page. And you can see it right here. It says Sample Podcast. This is a sample podcast to assist with teacher training at the Blue Ribbon Conference. You can listen now. You just click the arrow, and it works. When people go to view your podcast, they can click on comments and actually type in comments to you and your students. This is where parents have actually commented. They type it in, submit the comment, and then typically I have it set so I can pre-approve the comments before they're posted to the website. Also, you can download an embeddable player so that you can, if you know how to embed HTML language into other websites that you're building, your class website or other blogs, if you click on this, a window pops up and it has the HTML code right here, and you would just copy and paste it into wherever you want to put it. And that's how I put the PodBean players onto the workshop website that I showed you earlier. Also, if you want to download the podcast, you can do that here, and the podcast can be downloaded to your personal music player, like an iPod, for example. And we just click here to go back to the homepage, and that's it. You've now published your first podcast. So I welcome you to give this a shot. Good luck.